Welcome back, guys, and in today's video, this is this Pros Wixo 98 map. So I recently did film a video like this, but I thought this square was for Doggerland, and it's not for Doggerland, so I had the Dutch invading Doggerland. Now, would Doggerland join? Yeah, but that would get, yeah. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at what this video will be looking like. So first up, I do want to talk about my channel real quick. So, like I said in the Wixa video, I'm going to be locking into YouTube, as well as I do want to do more videos like this. So if you guys like this one, tell me in the comments. I like these videos, like doing like what if like this in Wixo. So this is my predictions on what will happen in the European War. But first up, before we do anything, go ahead and hit the like button. Well, do that at the end. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's like 10 a.m. right now. I'm tired, and I have to get this out extremely quick. So it's going to be out, premiering in, for me, like an hour and 30 minutes. So I have to get this and edited really fast. Then I also have to do the thumbnail really fast. But if you guys do enjoy this video, make sure you like and subscribe and join the Discord servers, and let's get straight into this. Now, I would also like to thank a map creator. This map creator, why did I choose that? Well, first up, I've got every single Wixo map now, so I could do tons of stuff on that. But yeah, if you guys want to see stuff like that, go ahead and tell me. So let's go ahead and get straight into this video. So like I said, yeah, the Diamond Alliance versus the Square Alliance. Russia, the Dutch, and France versus Norway, Poland, Estonia, Finland, and Denmark, which is they're no longer here. So let's quickly go ahead and take a look at what this war might look like. First up, troops are lined up on the borders. The Dutch have also captured this territory right here. So let's go ahead and take a look. Russian forces and Polish forces are facing each other down, and the Russian forces will make the first move in these northern areas. And the Polish forces will forces are making the move down in the south. As we also see, Dutch forces and Norwegian forces are staring, the Dutch and Norwegian navies are staring right at each other in this strait right here. I have no idea. I think it's a Strait of Copenhagen, but who knows. So Russian forces are also able to advance even more into Polish territory and can capture the entire border that they have with Estonia. As well as they do still have this territory right here. And they are able to now push into Estonia, which they quickly do. Estonian forces are able to hold out for a bit around their capital and this major city. But these islands are quickly captured, and Estonia looking like they might just fall. We also see over here, the Russians push into Finland once more, capturing a lot of these major cities. Now, this is very not up to date with the top 10 strongest, as Russia, and this is number 5, and Norway is number 9. But this says the Dutch are on top of Norway, so yeah. As we see, the Dutch are going to be the first ones over here to make the move. The Dutch will quickly go into the southern, peninsula part of these guys, Sweden. And quickly, they're mainly focusing on these cities over here. But they are able to hold out in this city right here, which is quickly surrounded. As well as this island is captured. And a nation, at the beginning of this war, is already trying to join the war. First up, that looks very ugly. A nation is already trying to join this war. That nation is none other than Germany. They literally just got out of war with Denmark. Not Denmark, the Dutch. But these guys think, because they're on the border of Poland, that they will easily able to stay alive for long enough, which of course, allows them to then, if I can, join the war. Germany will quickly join the war at the beginning of the war, and the Dutch realize this, and they're like, oh yeah, you're not surviving for much longer, and they launch an invasion, which they already had forces lined up along their border. But we also see another country will go ahead and break out of Germany. This is none other than Danzig. I forgot what they were called for a second. Danzig does declare their independence. They were absolutely obliterated by Germany after they lost the first war against the Dutch. But the Dutch forces will also reach up to the border over here, and will quickly destroy most of these forces of here, and they're left to no major cities. And eventually these areas will surrender over, and Germany quickly falls over to the Dutch. These guys now have a border with the Polish. So what do? They invade into the Polish. The Dutch are invading into this area once more, as they quickly capture these 3 major cities. As well as we see the Russians will quickly kick these guys out of this territory and will launch a new invasion into the south. The Farmers Union is hating having Russia on their northern border, but they can't do anything about it, because if they do anything about it, Greece and India, they will definitely be getting involved, as these guys will also be getting involved, as the Farmers Union does not want to be in a war. But Russian forces are destroying the east of Poland, and Poland is... This is reminding me of maybe an era, like a very long time ago. We don't have to focus on that. This major city is quickly captured by the Dutch, and the Norwegians are trying their best to kick them out, which they do have a counteroffensive in this territory over here, kicking these guys out and splitting their forces into 2. This area and the southern area, which is quickly entirely kicked out, and this area is getting destroyed. They still do have control in this major, and Estonia quickly fell. Estonian forces quickly surrendered over, and we also see Russian forces over here are able to do something for once. As I've just realized, there is a European war. Recently there was the African war, and now there is the European war. The Dutch are trying to get themselves an ally in Africa. Why would they want this? Mainly just because they don't want to have, just in case these guys join, they don't want France to focus on them alone, because the Dutch are focusing on these territories, and so they're trying to get West Africa into this, which they don't want to join. So now they have to go to Egypt, which entirely rejects, and Libya might just join, but they did just get absolutely demolished by the Egyptians, so yeah, no Northern African ally. But we do see these guys meet up with the Farmers Union over here, and the Farmers Union now has the Dutch and the Russians on their borders, who they absolutely despise. We also see the Dutch over here are able to push back into these territories, as the Norwegians have recently just captured this entire area back, but are not able to capture this island because the Dutch Navy is just that overpowered. Yeah. We also see more countries are tempted to get involved. One of these countries includes Rome. These guys hate the Dutch, and now they share a very long border, and they also have a technically, over here, a border. Well, the Dutch occupied the territory, but they technically do have a border over here. So these guys are very tempted to join. Who else is tempted to join? This nation is none other than Crimea. Their ally in Poland is getting beat. I don't know if they're allies. I think they just have really good relations. And Russia is about to destroy Poland. As well as they do have the ally up here in Norway, who is allied to Mesopotamia. I'm pretty sure. I mean, these two hate each other. Another country that is tempted to join is none other than Doggerland. All of these nations you see are tended to join in on the Square Team Alliance. And the Dutch is not putting up with that. They're trying to recruit allies, like I said, one in North Africa, but they also want Greece to join in on the war. Of course, they aren't going to join in on the war because Mesopotamia will definitely join in. But Greece, you're an extremely strong country. What are you doing? You also have a front over here on the Romans, as the Romans' capital is literally right there. But let's take our focus back over here. We quickly see the Dutch are able to recapture these territories down in the south, as well as are creeping up to their capital, capturing what I would say would be this Wixos Oslo, and yeah, they're getting extremely close to the Norwegian capital. And the Norwegians are getting kind of scared, as most of Finland has just died. The Kuril Peninsula has completely just been captured by the Russians, and they now have a border over here with these guys. And the Russians are doing extremely well against Finland, who, yeah. Finland is, their capital is quickly surrounded, and the Russians do not want to push into their capital anymore, as they are now pushing into the mountainous areas of Norway. Norway is now fighting on two fronts, the northern front and the southern front. Now, I feel like there would be one huge country that joins in on the war to absolutely destroy the Dutch in them, but I feel like a lot of people have been loving the Dutch. I feel like they would definitely lose over here in Norway. So that's what they do. The Norwegian army finally gets together, and they can quickly kick out the Dutch of these territories over here, recapture this island, no idea what it's called, probably should research on that, and completely kick the Dutch out of their territory. That was the first major loss for the Dutch. We also see, with this, the Norwegians are able to help out the Polish a little more, being able to kick them out of the Latvian territories, and are doing their best to revive these guys. But eventually, we also see the Norwegians are able to kick these guys out of this territory completely, and can use liberation forces to quickly do this over here, as we see they are able to recapture the Kuril Peninsula, and are doing extremely well doing that, as they quickly meet up with the Finnish forces in the capital, and the Russians are getting kicked back in this territory heavily. They are able to hold on to these territories, though. I should probably finish this video extremely quick. I have like an hour until this is getting released. And the Russians are also getting kicked back in the south of Poland, as well as just a little bit over here. But the Dutch are able to hold on to this one major city, which it looks like the Polish are doing extremely well at recapturing their territory. They meet up with the Estonian border, kick the Russians out of the south, but the Russians are able to go back in through this northern territory. And this was like the first major loss of Russia. But we also see Estonia is like, yeah, I'm sorry, we're coming back. And the Estonians go ahead and recapture these territories over here. And the Russians are really only losing in these areas, but they also are able to push into a little bit of these northern territories. And eventually we see they are trying to come into peace talks, but not before another country will be joining in this war. This is none other than the Romans. The Romans will officially declare war and join in on the Square Team Military Alliance. With this, we see Roman forces are quickly able to take these territories out of the Dutch, and also quickly capture these major cities right here. The Dutch are losing in these territories, but the Romans did not realize they occupied the entirety of Germany, and so they're getting kicked back in these territories. The Dutch are quickly able to push through these territories over here and can split the Romans into two different territories, the West Territory and the East Territory. With the help of French forces, these guys are quickly able to push out the Romans of these entire territories, and are able to push into these territories now, which their entire goal was to annex that blue country, which they might just do, and these territories are slowly falling over here. A lot of people do like the Romans, so I feel like the Romans would only stay in these territories. But we do see the Italian Union rebels pop up right here, which we also see they go ahead and pop up in more of these territories over here. But eventually the Italian Union does pop back up and then is absolutely demolished by the Romans once more. The Romans are able to hold on to these territories once more, but these rebels were demolished. So it looks like, oh, and there's a stalemate. Another country is tempted to join in on this war. This country is none other than Doggerland. Now, Doggerland would definitely join in on this war. The Alternites have been getting in many wars, such as the Atlantis Alternate, as they quickly got rid of these guys. Cannot remember what their actual name is. I should probably look on the wiki for that. We also see they made some deals over here with Australia, so they're pretty friendly with, well, they're only friendly with a fascist nation. That is weird. Yeah, I don't know what to say after this. The Russians are able to push into the south a little bit more, but eventually, oh yeah, the Russians struck up a deal with Crimea. They said, if Crimea does not join the war, we will not take any of their well, this is a terrible deal. The Crimeans will not join the war, and yeah. The Crimeans go ahead and accept. They don't want to get in a war. And they see how strong Russia is doing over here. So eventually, this is going to be probably a really short video. But we could go ahead and take a look at what the peace treaty will look like. Norway and Poland go ahead and say we want peace, as well as the Dutch do. They got kicked back at this territory. So I would say this is like a tie, because the Romans did pretty well over here. They did get split into two. But the Norwegians did extremely well in kicking these guys back, but were never able to capture the rest of this. But let's go ahead and take a look at what this peace treaty will be looking like. So this is what our peace treaty will be looking like. So as you can tell, there's a lot of new lines. Well, not that much. But let's go ahead and quickly take a look. First up, the rest of this blue country right here, well, this one, is going to be annexed straight into the Dutch. The Dutch will also be annexing these territories out of Rome, as well as these. So Rome did lose a lot of territories over here, but they also, yeah. The Romans did hold a large gain over here, but will not be getting that. This border does look extremely weird between the Dutch and the Romans, but I literally do not care. The Dutch will annex these territories out of Poland, which houses this major city that they held on to, as well as they annex all the, yeah. And look who's back. Danzig is back. The Russians, well, let's actually go back to the Dutch. The Dutch will annex all of these guys, as well as will be annexing the rest of the island of Copenhagen. The Russians will be annexing these provinces. Well, one maybe, I don't know. That's two. Also be annexing these territories over here and these two pieces of territory out of Estonia. This territory is not yours. We also see they annex all of these territories out of Finland. And yeah, there's a peace treaty for it. So a lot of people, I remember seeing in the chat of the live Wixo, well, it wasn't live. A lot of people were saying bring back Danzig. So let's actually go ahead and do a better peace treaty, where I go ahead and just do that, and then you go here and do this, and Danzig's capital is right here. Boom, there we go. I placed that on the major cities layer. Are you kidding me? And boom. Better peace treaty. So, there we go. That is the peace treaty. But if you guys did enjoy, make sure you like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.